massive campaign is underway to address the increasing cases of road accidents in the Accra metropolitan area. Deaths from road crashes are currently 7th leading cause of death worldwide. Over the weekend, 2 main events were held by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly under the AMA Bloomberg Initiative for Road Safety. They're in line with the UN target of reducing road crashes and fatalities by 50% by the year 2020. We'll bring you details of that shortly, but the mayor actually made a statement at the La Paz intersection on the NY Highway, where the highest rate of road crashes have been recorded in the city of Accra. Nancy Juadosi has been to that scene and reports.
So this is basically how people in this neighborhood cross the road over to the other side. They do that by jumping over the rail barrier that has been constructed on this N1 highway. Now, ever since this road was constructed in somewhere 2012, there have been so many deaths recorded over the years.
But what could be the main cause of road crashes on this particular highway?
Traffic ni simusa ekwani ntimi ndem nti onipa ye na adwuso obetwempe de obefa highway no na je se wakobo nipa no nti se aye nyamboa.
Accidents always occur on this highway. We really need a footbridge.
Overhead be emfa ho se ne be ya nipa be fa ho accident car bo nipa ni sa nyama na ekoso no esuntwa
ye here footbridge wa ba bia wo no ho na moye ko mo ya wa ha se yakabagwa because obi feel ma akra ba o si wa ha o cross wa ha ya enti be bia footbridge no one de moye ye here wa Las Palmas anim ha ya ekwan no ntwa ma ehu pa me ba ko school ni wa chimota obetimi ababa timintimi njano omo no nko anko because me so say oduru a o ha bibi besi
no cresa o san ke nante ku yanim footbridge ni bi wo ho but emu twe.
It's true, we are supposed to walk to the footbridge, but it is too far. Here's the bus stop. We beg government. Every day someone is knocked down by a car.
Las Palmas, Hamaye, Naka Buero, every day be a car bonipa.
Our cameras caught up with these pedestrians who tried to jump over the barriers. These were their explanations.
Actually, I'm going to Awoshi, and the bus stop, the cars load from here, and I can't go to that end to go and cross the road, so I decided to use the pavement.
But are you not scared for your life? You know it's very dangerous.
Yeah, I'm very careful. It's very dangerous though, but as young as I am, you can imagine. I'm a little bit fast on the road, so.
Simple because I'm just from here. I cannot go back to the top there. Okay? Is that clear? That's why I just crossed here.
But are you not scared that there could be an accident because it's dangerous for you to use
I do, I understand you. You are 100%. I do understand, So forgive me.
Though many have called for the reconstruction of another footbridge close to the bus stops around La Paz, this woman has a different opinion.
I mean, what's that? Overhead neighbor. Still, neighbor jump away. Until I say, my police for who jump a action. And then the air condition. I'll jump on a police action to not be a useful footbridge. As I say, I know, say, Hanmudiano, you have a footbridge, no name of police for an anti Hanmudia, and you'll be a useful footbridge.
It is obvious that this highway is a blessing to road users within the capital. However, it will take extra exercise of great sense of responsibility and discipline on the part of road users to realize this benefit. Reported for Joy News, Nancy MFA Juadosi.
Now, Accra's road safety program for the Christmas and New Year period has also been started. In the studio with me here is Dr. Raphael Bafo Ewa. He's a surveillance coordinator of the Bloomberg Initiative for Global Road Safety. Also here, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Also here in the studio is Engineer Samuel Buamadankwa. He's a road design and transportation coordinator, Bloomberg Initiative for Global Road Safety. You're welcome as well.
Thank you.
What is this initiative about, and how is it going to reduce the crashes on our roads?
So this is basically a 5-year project between the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and the Bloomberg Initiative for Global Road Safety that seeks to help reduce traffic fatalities in our corridors, because it's been established that about 1.25 million people die on our road space worldwide each year on our corridors, and about 50 million people also get injured as a result of road traffic crashes. So it tells you that there is the need to enhance efforts towards reducing road crashes. So this initiative is about capacity building and more awareness into reducing
That sounds like
traffic.
a very general picture, but let's talk about what's going to go into the 5-year period. And I'm sure that it's going to cost some money. We'll talk about the cost, but within that 5-year, we've been working a lot at reducing the carnage on our roads. We don't seem to be making a headway. I mean, some way, somehow it fluctuates. It goes up, it goes down. What is in this 5-year? What is going to be done so we can tangibly feel the difference? Are you ready to go with that, or you? Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody?
So basically, this initiative, like you said, in looking at tangibles, has 4 factors fitting into it. So we have enforcement, we have mass media and surveillance, we have evaluation, and then we have safer street and mobility. So the whole idea is once all these 4 components work together hand in hand, then there's the overall objective of meeting the target to reduce road traffic crashes on our corridor. So for instance, if we look at the safer street and mobility, so we are looking at improving our designs on our road space and at the intersections.
Okay, wait. Improving our designs.
Yes.
How are you going to do that?
So for instance, when we listen to the video coverage you gave recently before we came in.
Yes, the story that
so
was
on the N1, specifically at La Paz intersection, you realize that this corridor goes through a community where there are a lot of activities, human activities. So it's required that people move from one side of the road to the other. So it's also important that the traffic signals are coordinated such that we can have ample time for pedestrians to cross safely. Currently, the signal timing is not really the best, so a lot of interventions are going into it to help improve the signal timing so that pedestrians can cross safely. Again, if you look at the video clip, you realize that the median width is not wide enough to accommodate the pedestrian volumes. So we seek to widen it a bit so that pedestrians who cross can have enough coverage to also do safe crossing from one end to the other. Again, you also see that some of the slip lanes are quite wide, and once the slip lanes are wide, it means vehicles have to negotiate at higher speed. So we are advocating that they are narrowed a bit to calm traffic.
But it's already been done. So how will it be narrowed? You wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a bit to what my colleague said. So on the enforcement bit, before he comes in.
Okay, well, if you're going to talk about enforcement, let's finish with the design. So tell us why they're going to shrink a road that has already been made that wide.
Well, I mean, a lot of design parameters can go into this. I mean, you can reduce the road width just by using the lane marking. So if a design has advocated for about 3.5 meters and you seek to calm traffic at that intersection, it's just a matter of using the road line to reduce it from 3.5 to an appreciable width so that vehicles that get to the intersection slow down and then allow pedestrians to cross safely as they get there.
Let's talk about the enforcement. You wanted to
Yes, and enforcement and surveillance. I'll just put the two together. Okay. So again, in this 5-year period, our focus is on 4 main risk factors, namely helmet wearing, seat belt, drink driving, and overspeeding. And so these are 4 risk factors that the initiative, together with the city authorities, are very key on to tackle, because part of, and you rightly indicated, the N1 stretch, actually the city of Accra has actually recorded quite a lot of fatalities and injuries due to road crashes. But the N1 is also a very, popular in that sense, So basically, these risk factors are what the initiative is really concentrating on, and that's what the enforcement bit is going to, be about.
But then you talk about the N1. You've been talking a lot about the N1. The N1 is a road that has already been constructed, paid for. I don't know how you're going to, and then the overpass that you mentioned, I think there was a provision for that as well. So who is going to bear that extra cost? I mean, help me understand this, because I'm not really getting
well,
it.
This is a collaboration between different and relevant stakeholders. So the Accra Metropolitan Assembly is in the picture, the Department of Urban Roads, the Ghana Highway Authority, and all relevant stakeholders that seek to enhance safety on our corridors. So, for instance, if we talk about the N1, currently there's a program that is being studied where we can seek to enhance the La Paz Junction itself. So all the relevant stakeholders are on board. NGOs, like I mentioned, Ghana Highway Authority.
So, but then my concern is that the overpass, for example, that you mentioned, has already been provided for in the previous funding that was used to build the N1 highway. So you're going to take extra money for that?
No, like I mean,
the program is going to have to push in.
So the Bloomberg initiative also is coming with a number of support schemes to address this. So there's not going to be extra funding from the taxpayer.
If this is my concern here, is that if this is going to support the construction of an overpass, then what happens to the N1 finances?
No, we are actually not constructing an overpass there. But the idea is that corridor is already designed for and constructed, but it is going through an urban community. So what design parameters do we put in place to enhance that the conflicts between the various
How much is this costing?
In terms of
you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to say why the emphasis on N1. So I just a bit of statistics to give a bit of meaning to why the concentration is on the N1 stretch. So over a period of 5 years, between 2011 and 2015, there have been 951 fatalities in the city of Accra. Out of this, 680 were pedestrians. And out of the 680 pedestrians, about 113 happened on the N1 alone, about 17%. So clearly that is a hotspot within the city of Accra. And that is why, the emphasis is on the N1 stretch.
Okay, let's finally talk about the cost. What is this? Is this some sort of special financing package from Bloomberg? What is this about? I know you said stakeholders, etc., but I know that government doesn't give out its money anyway. They don't even have the money to give. So what is this about? Is it Bloomberg that's supporting this initiative? How much is involved?
Well, I at this stage I wouldn't want us to dwell so much on the money, but rather.
Well, I want us to dwell on the money.
The interesting thing is we have to value the life of each individual.
Oh, certainly.
One life
certainly.
Lost.
If we didn't value it, we won't be having this conversation in the first place. We do value the life, and that's why I'm very broken today, because I have lost a life. Okay, so the money involved is also important, so that we know whether or not there's value for money, or whether or not what the government of Ghana, for example, is getting, so we can monitor.
It's you have a valid point, but it's difficult to quantify because it's an initiative that involves 10 cities in the world and 5 countries in the world. And for Africa, the cities who are participating, Accra and then Addis Ababa of Ethiopia. And then for the countries, we have Tanzania from Africa. So it's not equally distributed to say this city or this country is getting this amount.
But we still need to know how much is coming to Ghana. Do you know?
Well, we don't have that information.
You don't have that information very well. Well, I guess we'll have to get it from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Because when we know as media people, then it makes it easier for us to also follow up and to make sure that whatever the money was meant for has been achieved. Because at the end of the day, you want to reduce carnage. But if the money is misappropriated, it will come to nothing. Okay, let me take your final words on this. Let me start with you.
I think, as you rightly said, before we came in, injuries and deaths due to road crashes is a serious issue. According to the World Health Organization, it's among the top 10 causes of death. And so, part of it, has got to do with vehicular movement and all of that, but also other aspects have got to do with behavioral, factors. And so, pedestrians need to be more careful. Yes, like my colleague rightly said, parts of the city are going to be re-engineered to make the roads safer for pedestrians. But as an individual, you need to be more aware of your environment, and you need to be, I talked about the 4 risk factors: drink driving, speeding, helmet wearing, seat belts. clearly, if you were to do an observational study, you clearly see that there are lots of people who are not going by these things. And so that's why there's an enforcement bit of this initiative from Bloomberg. So I'll just say that pedestrians should be more aware of the environments, especially when they are using the streets, because I think that most of our highways were not designed for pedestrians, and that's why we are in to resolve that issue.
Hopefully it will be resolved. Your final words, please.
Yes, so in our part of the world, most of our roads have been designed to concentrate on basically the movement of vehicles, and we do so not giving cognizance to other road users such as pedestrians and cyclists, but all of them are road users, so we have to think of designing our road space to accommodate all road users. And then secondly, to support that, we are developing a pedestrian safety action plan that will help to direct the implementation of infrastructure provision towards pedestrian needs. I would want to say that one life lost is too many lives to be lost. Certainly. And then we seek to enhance mobility in our city space, but we shouldn't do so at the expense of precious human life.
Okay. Obviously something that I would agree. Thank you very much for coming through. And I hope that within the next 5 years, we will see tangible difference, difference, especially on the N1, since it is a place that you're highlighting. And I mean, it's amazing to see young people be involved in things like this, because you do look young, unless I'm mistaken.
Very, very young.
Okay, so it's amazing to see young people, you know, solving the problems of society. That's what gives the children that we just spoken about the hope. If you get it wrong, then you know the hopelessness that you give the children who are looking up to you, and the fact that we're going to lose the lives that you're just talking about anyway. I've been here with Dr. Raphael Bafo Ewa. He's a surveillance coordinator with the Bloomberg Initiative Global Road Safety, and also here was is Engineer Samuel Buama Dankwa. He's a road design and transportation coordinator with the Bloomberg Initiative for Global Road Safety. We're looking to stop the carnage on our roads, especially on the N1 road, in the next 5 years. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you for having us.